What happens when two icons of entertainment collide on live television over something so deeply personal that it changes everything about how people see them? Buckle up, because what went down between Dolly Parton and Queen Latifah during what was meant to be a light-hearted afternoon talk show interview turned into something no one could have predicted. This wasn't your ordinary celebrity disagreement. This was raw, it was unfiltered, and it was absolutely explosive. Before we get into this unbelievable story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment, because after you hear what happened, you'll definitely have an opinion to share. Picture it now. Dolly Parton, the undeniable queen of country music, seated comfortably in that cushioned interview chair across from Queen Latifah, who is glowing with her usual charm as the host. The stage lights are warm, the audience is buzzing with anticipation, and the cameras are rolling. Everything looks set for a fun, upbeat chat. Dolly sparkles, literally, in one of her trademark rhinestone-covered outfits. Her blonde hair is perfectly styled, and her radiant smile could light up any room. Across from her, Queen Latifah, ever the polished professional, beams as she prepares to start what should be another entertaining, breezy celebrity conversation. "Dolly Parton, everyone," Queen Latifah announces, and the crowd erupts in applause that nearly shakes the room. "Now, Dolly, it's been way too long since you've joined us here. And as always, you look absolutely stunning." Dolly flashes her million-dollar grin, brushing a hand across her glittering jacket. "Well, aren't you just the sweetest, Dana? You know I adore coming on your show. You always make folks feel so at home and cared for." The audience eats it up, and Queen Latifah leans forward with curiosity shining in her eyes. "Now, I've got to ask, your career has stretched across more than 6 decades. You've dominated music, starred in movies, lit up Broadway, and now you're shaking up the business world. But I want to take this in a more personal direction. Because through all this massive success, you've kept up this image of being everyone's favorite aunt, America's wholesome country darling. But tell me honestly, behind closed doors, is that the real Dolly? Or is there another side of you that people don't see?" The question doesn't sound too harsh. It's the kind of thing talk show hosts often throw out there to get celebrities to open up a little more. But something subtle shifts in Dolly's face. Her smile doesn't fade, but there's a tiny flicker in her eyes, the kind that makes you realize the question hit differently than expected. "Well, sugar, what you see is pretty much what you get with me," Dolly answers sweetly. But there's a trace of steel in her tone. "I've never been one to put on airs or try pretending to be somebody I'm not. I've been this way since I was a little mountain girl growing up poor in Tennessee." The audience nods along, impressed by her authenticity. Queen Latifah smiles warmly but isn't ready to let go of the subject just yet. "That's beautiful, and I think it's part of what makes people love you. But let me ask you this, don't you ever get worn out from always having to be on? I mean, the wigs, the makeup, the sequins, even in moments like this. Don't you ever just want to be Dolly without all of that? Just relax without the show?" Now the studio leans in. This isn't confrontational, but it is more probing than most expected. Dolly's body language shifts slightly. Her jeweled nails tap the armrest of her chair. She's still smiling, but the warmth is cooling fast. "I do appreciate your interest, Dana, I really do," Dolly replies, her voice gentle but with a noticeable edge. "But I think you might be missing the point. This isn't a costume, darling. This isn't some act I put on just for the cameras. This is me." The room suddenly feels heavier, as though the air changed. Queen Latifah tries to soften the moment. "Oh no, I didn't mean it like that at all. I wasn't trying to suggest you're not real. I just meant everyone needs time to be private, to be themselves without always being in the spotlight." But Dolly isn't letting it slide so easily. "You know what I think? I think you're assuming things about me because of how I dress, how I style my hair, how I show up in the world. You're acting like rhinestones, and big hair must mean it's fake, that it's for show. But let me tell you, I've been dressing this way since I was old enough to pick my own clothes." The audience goes quiet. Queen Latifah opens her mouth to explain, but Dolly presses on, her voice firmer now. "I came from nothing, absolutely nothing. And I always knew I was meant for something bigger. This look, this image, this style you see, it came from my heart. It wasn't built by some record company, it wasn't manufactured by anyone. This is the real me, and I'm just a little tired of folks hinting otherwise." Queen Latifah raises her hand slightly, trying to calm the storm. "Dolly, I hear you, and I want you to know I respect that. I truly do. I think maybe we're just misunderstanding each other. I wasn't saying you're not authentic. I was only curious about the person behind the legend. The person behind the legend? Dolly repeats, her voice a little louder, her famous smile faltering. Dana, I am the person. And I am the legend. They're not two separate people. You can't peel one away from the other. I've been both from the very start. The cameras keep rolling, capturing every flicker of tension. Queen Latifah, who's handled her fair share of tough interviews, tries again to redirect. I completely get that, and it's actually admirable. I just meant we all have different sides. Like me, there's Queen Latifah, the entertainer, and there's Dana, the private woman who chills in sweatpants at home. That's all I was asking about. That's when Dolly's tone sharpens like a blade. Well, isn't that precious? She says, her voice dripping with sarcasm for the first time. You get to be Dana in your sweatpants, but I don't get to be Dolly in my rhinestones? You're telling me that your sweatpants are more authentic than my sparkles? The audience gasps softly. Queen Latifah shakes her head. That's not at all what I'm saying. Please don't twist my words. No, let me tell you what's happening. Dolly shoots back, leaning forward. Her perfectly polished nails point directly at Queen Latifah. You're wondering how a poor mountain girl like me, who's built an empire with her own hands, could possibly be genuine while looking like this. And that, Dana, says more about you than it does about me. The audience is glued to their seats. This is no longer a playful exchange, it's a battle. Queen Latifah breathes in slowly, visibly trying to keep control. Dolly, I have endless respect for what you've done. You've built something extraordinary. I'd never question that. But I think we're talking past each other. Are we, though? Dolly snaps back. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you invited me here with some ideas already in your head about who I am. Like you're searching for some secret Dolly behind the rhinestones. Well, guess what? That Dolly doesn't exist. Queen Latifah's calm is slipping too. Her voice hardens. I ask similar questions to every guest. That's my job. People want to connect with the human being behind the fame. Dolly laughs, but it's sharp and humorless. Check yourself, Dana. What you're really asking is why I don't tone it down, why I don't make myself smaller, why I don't dress appropriately for my age. That's what's underneath your question. That's not true, and you know it, Queen Latifah fires back. Do I? Dolly stands up suddenly, and the entire studio holds its breath. Tell me something, Dana. When you've got male country singers here, do you ask them about the real man behind the cowboy hat? When you've got rock stars, do you question whether their leather jackets are authentic? Or do you only save that for women who dare to shine a little too brightly? Queen Latifah rises too, unwilling to back down. I ask real questions to everyone, men and women. Don't twist this into something it isn't, and don't accuse me of targeting you. Or maybe I'm just tired, Dolly says, voice booming now, of constantly having to explain myself to people who should know better. The audience is frozen, watching like it's the most dramatic tennis match of their lives. Two titans volleying back and forth. What started as a simple interview has turned into a legendary clash, one that no one, least of all Dolly or Latifah, will ever forget.